Sean Shepard, and I'm the District Wildlife Manager in the Salida area. I cover 3 units that we're going to discuss today: Unit 86, Unit 56, and Unit 561. I'll start with Unit 86, around Salida and the towns of Poncha Springs. It is primarily public lands, but the access is somewhat limited. There's only a few roads that go up behind to the south of Salida. They get up into the unit. It can be difficult to get into the areas that you have deer and elk, but there are deer and elk back up on top of Poncha Mountain and up on the shoulders of Methodist Mountain. The other way to access the unit is 285 and then hiking in, but I would plan on a relatively long hike to get into the portions of that unit that I cover. Moving on to Unit 561, it is almost 90% public land. It has a fair amount of good access. You can access the unit through Highway 50 and then all of the Forest Service and BLM access roads through there. And then on the backside is the Marshall Pass Road that can get you into that country. On a map, it looks like a relatively small unit, but once you start actually hunting it, it is a pretty big area. There are some tall mountains back in there, and there's some ways to get away from people. The main concerns in the early seasons is that we have a lot of recreation, a lot of mountain biking going on back in there. As the seasons progress and the snows kind of pile up, the deer and elk seem to come along the Highway 50 corridor in 561, so they move to the north in that unit. Moving over into Unit 56, we have that unit's about 80% public land. It is a high elevation unit. We have several 14ers in that unit, and again, it has really excellent access. It's traditionally that unit had a lot of mining in it, so you can get into some of those high peaks. There's 4-wheel drive roads and access roads to get back up in there. As the seasons progress, the deer and the elk, they move down in elevation, and as they move down in elevation, they're out on more private land. The bottom of that unit is primarily private, but there's still very, very good hunting for deer and elk in the later seasons, and but you will be passing large herds out on private ranches as you drive up into that public land. I wanted to briefly touch on some of the other big game species that we have here in these units that I cover. In black bear, we're really not known for having a large population of black bear. Our habitat really doesn't sustain a large population. Again, if you're looking for black bear in these units, you're going to be hunting along creek bottoms and areas that have scrub oak and berry production going on. Moose, the moose units that are covered here stretch all the way from, the unit stretches all the way from Leadville down to Salida, and we do have moose in this area. And again, they're accessible creek beds again, wet areas, aspen forests, things like that. You're going to find your moose. And bighorn sheep and mountain goat are also found in both of these units. And again, the access is relatively good, but you're going to have a lot of hiking in front of you. The units are basically, all these units here, 86 is an over-the-counter for bull elk, and then it typically is 0 to 1 points to draw there. And that goes also for 561 and 56. They are, they're limited units, and it takes 0 to 1 points to draw in there. If you have any more than 1 point, you're almost guaranteed to draw. So we do have a limited amount of licenses out there, and we encourage you to apply, and good luck with your hunt.